Leading the Nightline tonight, Sarawak state-owned airline AIRBORNEO is set for a full review following its official takeover. State Transport Minister Dr. Sri Lee Kim Shin says the assessment will zero in on technical readiness, financial strength and the long-term sustainability of operations.
I know that's a question that you all like to ask, but I think it's now we just took over. This is an interim measure at the moment. Now we have AIRBORNEO with the team, so we'll have the relevant the teams and the task force to look into all these measures, and we have to look at it professionally, and it will take time. As you know, there are a lot of technical and financial matters that we need experts to look into. Yeah, and give us some time. Now today we just started, so we just got the A operating license.
Kim Shin says a range of technical and financial issues will require expert review, all of which are already part of the Sarawak government's plans and will be rolled out in phases based on AIRBORNEO's operational priorities. He adds that rural air services will be among the first to be introduced under AIRBORNEO's operations.
As for this year, it's more or less been set, but we'll look into the longer term. We're also planning maybe for the next 5 years on the subsidy model for the rural air services. Then the other aspect will be the commercial airline. This is we'll be flying regional. That will come at the later stage.
According to him, the next phase will shift to commercial operations, including regional flights, to be rolled out at a later stage. AIRBORNEO is also exploring contracts or MOU agreements with fuel suppliers, including Petronas, to drive down operating costs. AIRBORNEO has officially taken to the skies today, carrying 55 passengers from Kuching and landing safely at Temuka Airport, marking its first flight and a significant milestone for aviation in Sarawak. The launch positions Kuching as a potential secondary international gateway for Borneo, aiming to reduce reliance on traditional transit hubs such as Kuala Lumpur, Singapore and Jakarta. Industry observers say the move could strengthen regional connectivity while supporting Sarawak's long-term economic and trade ambitions. Now, we spoke to aviation analyst Dr. Rosli Han, who described AIRBORNEO's launch as a major shift in Sarawak's aviation landscape, saying that the new airline could help correct long-standing structural imbalances in Malaysia's air transport sector and its ability to attract and retain international routes in the future.
First of all, many congratulations to the Premier and the State Government of Sarawak for their bold move to form this new airline, AIRBORNEO, to take over the services of the rural air services previously under Maswing. This is a very long-term strategy to service the aviation sector in Sarawak, which we all know that is very lopsided, or what the aviation expert says, structurally imbalanced, that favors Peninsula rather than East Malaysia.
The Sarawak-owned carrier is taking over rural air services previously operated by Maswings. Beyond rural connectivity, AIRBORNEO's entry is also expected to influence pricing and competition on key routes between Sarawak and Peninsular Malaysia, where airfares have long been a point of contention. The airline's dual focus on passenger services and cargo could increase market pressure and encourage more competitive pricing across the sector.
AIRBORNEO entry into the market is very timely indeed. It has the potential to put pressure, especially on the airfare between Sarawak and the Peninsula. For many decades, the airfare has been arbitrarily increased by the 4 airline operators operating in the country, and hopefully with the introduction of AIRBORNEO and with the dual role of providing social services and also commercial operation, other airlines will follow suit in terms of pricing.
The presence of Air Borneo not only enhances mobility for rural residents, but also opens up opportunities for local economic growth and boosts Sarawak tourism sector. With today's inaugural flight, Air Borneo signals a new chapter, one that aims to place Sarawak more firmly on the global aviation map.
The government has assured that supplies of basic necessities for flood victims in Sarawak are at an adequate level, following early activation of disaster logistics preparedness. Women, Family and Community Development Minister Dato Sri Nancy Shukri says the government currently has 8 main depots for disaster relief supplies nationwide, including several strategic locations in Sarawak. The temporary depot approach enables food, drinking water and basic necessities to be replenished immediately once stocks are released to ensure that no victims are affected by shortages.
Seperti I think most of you knew lah, sebelum ini kita sudah mengadakan pendaftaran ke diri melalui IB JKM yang kita mulakan, hari itu kita rasmikan di Kuching dahulu. Jadi ini sudah berjalan dengan lancar, dilaksanakan di seluruh negara bagi membolehkan semuanya dapat menggunakan kemudahan yang ada supaya tidak ada lagi komplain dari segi dia punya tuntutan ke.
Nancy adds that the government is also prepared with more than 9,000 registered temporary evacuation centres nationwide, with the capacity to accommodate up to 2 million victims. Flood victims, including those who are still at home, are also encouraged to register via MyIBJKM or at the PPS to facilitate the coordination of food, drinking water and welfare assistance. In Sarawak, the total number of victims rose to 1,136 from 286 families as of 8 a.m. today, up from 791 people yesterday. According to the Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee, 252 individuals from 52 families are sheltering at the Dewan Arpiang Relief Centre in Kampung Sinar Budi Baru, Kuching, with the remainder spread across 8 other centres. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim is urging local authorities to refrain from using agents or middlemen in Ramadan Bazaar business permit registration. Instead, he suggests that local authorities implement online Ramadan Bazaar registration, thus increasing transparency and reducing the cost of burden on traders. Anwar says the online registration method is not only more orderly, but can also curb the practices of parties who take advantage by charging additional fees for personal gain.
Pengalaman PJ itu, pendapatan jaya itu boleh dijadikan contoh, ya, pendaftaran online dan buka sebanyak mungkin. Kemudian biar ada kemudahan sebersih mungkin.
He says stronger cooperation between local and state governments is key, with the federal government ready to step in and upgrade essential facilities. Anwar also stresses that Ramadan bazaars must maintain top cleanliness and facilities, from water supply to solid waste management. A man was charged in the Ipoh Sessions Court today with 2 counts of injuring his parents using a samurai sword or a katana, causing severe injuries last December. 30-year-old Muhammad Aiman Suhaimi pleaded not guilty after the charges were read out to him before Judge Ainul Shahrin Muhammad. According to the charges, the accused allegedly caused grievous harm to Suhaimi Dawi and Shaliza Ahmad Hashim, both 58 years old, using a weapon capable of causing death if misused. The alleged incident took place at a house in Bandar Baru Putra, Kinta district at 6:30 a.m. on December 26. The charge is framed under sections 326/326A of the Penal Code, carrying a maximum prison sentence of 20 years, along with a possible fine or whipping. Deputy Public Prosecutor M. Ravina did not offer any bail and requested that the unrepresented accused be referred to Hospital Bahagia, Ulukinta, for mental examination. Meanwhile, the court granted the request and set January 30th for case mention. And dozens were killed and over 100 injured when a fire ripped through a crowded bar in the luxury Swiss ski resort town of Crans, Montana early Thursday as young revelers rang in the new year. Horrified bystanders described panic as people tried to break the windows of the bar to escape and others, covered in burns, poured into the street.
Qui s'est produit la nuit dernière dans un bar de Grand Montana constitue l'une des pires tragédies que notre pays ait connues.
Police, firefighters and rescuers rushed to the popular resort, which is set to host the Ski World Cup from January 30th. The emergency units at Wallis Canton hospitals quickly filled up, and many of the injured were transported across Switzerland and neighboring countries.
Nous dénombrons une quarantaine de personnes décédées et environ 115 blessés, la plupart grièvement.
Authorities said they were still investigating the causes of the fire, which erupted shortly before 1:30 a.m. local time, but said they did not believe it had been triggered by an attack. Early reports had suggested a large explosion might have caused the fire at Le Constellation, which has a capacity of 300 people, plus another 40 people on its terrace. Packed with missile tests, propaganda hailing the great leaders and tyrants against the United States, North Korea's top newspaper was long considered so incendiary. South Korea banned its citizens from reading it. But dovish President Lee Jae-myung is now seeking better ties with Pyongyang and has joked that he doesn't believe the public will become commies by reading the Rodong Sinmun. That means from this week, South Koreans can access the publication, whose name means workers' newspaper, at select locations without state approval.
원래 신문은 누구든지 보고 또 듣고 알려주는 게 신문의 사명인데 우리 북한 노동신문을 봤다고 해서 그걸 우리 지성으로 해결하면 되는 것이지 그걸 보고 우리가 어떻게 될 것이다 또는 뭐 지성 감염이 될 것이다 나 그렇게 믿지 않아요. 네. 몰랐던 부분도 일부는 우리가 알게 됨으로써 오히려 우리한테 도움이 되고 더 해방이 되는데 통일이 되는데 밑거름이 될 거라고 생각해요.
But opinions in the South Korean capital Seoul were divided on allowing free access to propaganda from Pyongyang.
아무런 대안 내주는 준비가 없는 상황에서 국민을 그쪽 길로 유도한다 그러면 상당수가 그쪽으로 쏠리게 되는 현상이 발생할 수가 있거든요. 그렇게 된다 그러면 이 사태가 그야말로 걷잡을 수 없는 그런 사태가 벌어질 수 있다고 저는 걱정하는 바입니다. 네.
All media in North Korea is tightly controlled by the government, and the Rodong Sinmun is the mouthpiece of a repressive ruling Workers' Party. Right, to get all the updates you need all in one app as TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, whenever, wherever. And those are the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Charlotte Schmato. Thank you for watching and have a good night.